Hello again. So I've got the pleasure to announce the next speaker, senior lecturer, PhD student, Yulia Farafonova, representative of Immanuel Kant Baltic Federal University, with a report identifying sustainable strategic priorities for the coastal territories of the Baltic Sea region. The floor is yours, Yulia.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. And first of all, let me thank you for the opportunity to participate in this forum. And I will focus on the areas that should be the priorities for the development of coastal territories. In this report, we use the term territories, not regions, as coastal regions are normally not 3 units. And here we deal with meso-level units located on the coasts of the sea. These are, here you have the map, these are 21 units of the EU, not 2-level units, and 3 regions of the Russian Federation, which are more or less comparable in terms of their population, which of course still differs significantly. And the territories differ in terms of population density. In 2018, it ranged from 187 to 5 people per square kilometer. And this is excluding areas where major cities like Stockholm or St. Petersburg are located. And only in few countries, the population density in coastal territories of not 2-level was higher than the national average. Although it did increase over that period, especially in capital regions, in some of these regions we can see that it actually decreased, for example, in Mecklenburg-Vorpommern and in the Baltic states. The territories differ in terms of the level of their socioeconomic development, of course. We measured it with gross domestic product per capita based on purchasing power parity in order to eliminate the price differences. And here we also can see that only the metropolitan regions are developing more dynamically against the background of other regions in their respective countries. The rest of the coastal territories either lag behind significantly or do not stand out. And this means that, unfortunately, economic activities are taking place mostly in the other territories of the countries. And in order to ensure the development of the coastal territories, we need to identify their new strategic priorities. And of course, regional priorities should comply with the national goals and objectives. If we talk about Russia, it updated its national development goals last year in June, and now they almost completely coincide with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And of course, the EU is strongly committed to implementing the SDGs. Although these goals are not legally binding, most countries choose to work for their achievement, and they even provide their progress reports on selected indicators. But when it comes to regions of different level, not 3, not 2-level, it doesn't really matter. Those territories monitoring their progress in SDG achievement are more of an exception than a rule. Although the importance of this is now widely recognized, and for example, OECD states that 65% of the targets cannot be reached without proper engagement of and coordination with local and regional governments, so probably we'll see more local reports in the coming years. But what it means now is that not only national, but also subnational strategies should be updated, refined, and modified in order to ensure sustainable development in regions that in turn will allow attaining the SDGs on the national and global level. The development path of each territory is largely defined by its specific characteristics. And for coastal territories, this is, of course, their unique coastal marine environment that provides the opportunities for the development of maritime activities or the blue economy. In the EU, blue economy has its blue growth strategy. The EU strategy for the Baltic Sea region has blue economy industries as the main areas of activities. Blue economy is also one of the directions of the EU Horizon strategy, and the importance of blue economy is also emphasized in Russian legislative documents. So here you can see the sectors of blue economy, both established and emerging. And the successful development of all of these sectors requires innovations. They are currently the key to competitiveness here. For instance, if we take maritime transportation, it is currently improving the efficiency of logistics and increasing the transparency of financial transactions by means of blockchain technology. Ports control traffic and manage warehouses using the Internet of Things. These technologies accelerate all business processes, reduce downtime, eliminate losses, but they not only cut costs, they also decrease the harmful emissions. When we talk about coastal tourism here, the augmented reality technology expands the possibility of cultural and historical tourism, and new business opportunities are created by smart destinations. If we talk about emerging sectors, for example, marine engineering and submarine pipelines, they're being monitored, and the efficiency and safety of this monitoring is being increased by autonomous vessels, fishing harnesses, artificial intelligence, and acoustic and video technologies, and so on and so forth. And besides the benefits for a specific industry, the development and implementation of new digital solutions serves as a driver for further development and diffusion of technologies, increasing economic efficiency in other sectors as well. For example, the development of in offshore wind energy sector, it will create new jobs as the floating stations will require repair and maintenance. Of course, it will require additional research and development, of course. And the introduction of digital solutions in this area will have a positive impact on the port and shipbuilding activities, as well as on the activities of suppliers and operators of marine equipment. Innovation in aquaculture farming will have a beneficial economic impact on the fish processing industry, as well as on the production of aquaculture feed. These sectors will grow, not only creating new jobs, but also contributing substantially to the regional budget. And since aquaculture farms are to be moved further off the coast for various reasons, there is a need for new stable structures, and they should be designed, and this requires additional research and development, and for vessels that would provide access to them for monitoring, harvesting, and maintenance. And here we also require the development of autonomous vessels. So at the moment, there is a lack of research into the assessment of the cross-sector impact of the digital technologies and blue economy. Nevertheless, the sustainable development of these sectors and accordingly of the coastal territories turns out to be directly related to their willingness and readiness to develop and implement innovations based on digital technologies. To assess the readiness of the territory to do that, well, there are numerous indicators and complex indexes applied, but they all majorly use the data on human capital and digital infrastructure development. Have it here. So data show, once again, that except for the major cities and their regions, coastal territories have smaller number of researchers per capita than national average. Per million people or per capita, it doesn't really matter here. Only in few territories an increase was observed. But it also should be noted that territories with higher value of this indicator had higher GDP per capita. And absolutely the same stands true for the level of R&D expenditures, which in most regions also declined. And when it comes to the level of digitalization, it is really difficult to compare the coastal territories of different countries of the Baltic Sea region, because the data are not compatible. So for some indicators, Eurostat provides country-level data and Russia provides region-level data and vice versa. So what we can compare is the share of households with broadband internet access. And in the EU, we have seen the rapid increase in the last decade. In almost all coastal territories, the indicator is over 90%. The lowest values were noted in Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and the Swedish region of Malestra-Norland, and the coastal regions of the Russian Federation. At the same time, for the first four, the trend has been positive since 2007, but in the coastal territories of the Russian Federation, In contrast to the other territories of the country, the share of households with broadband internet access remained at the same level. This indicates the need for more active development of ICT infrastructure here in order to avoid further lagging behind. And to sum up, taking into account the location of the regions, their sustainable development depends on the blue sectors of economy, and these sectors should be their strategic priorities. However, to ensure continued and strengthened international competitiveness in a world changing to a more digital and low resource footprint value creating logic, territories should continue their digitalization, enabling prompt adoption of new technologies and solutions, and they should especially welcome and encourage the development of those solutions that provide cross-sectoral benefits. They should encourage innovative activities, attracting researchers and companies whose capabilities and knowledge will ensure the future prosperity and sustainability. And these should be the strategic priorities for the coastal territories of the Baltic Sea region. Thank you for your attention, and I will be happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you, Yulia. And if I have the right, can I ask a question to Yulia? It's more common. Yeah. Are you familiar with the project called Generation Bold?
I must say I've never heard of it, unfortunately.
Because a few years ago, we had a great chance to take part in this project dedicated to the South Baltic, and also dedicated to the concept of blue growth of the South Baltic, and the concept of linking labor market and maritime institution. It was very interesting, and one of the, the results of this project was this study called Foresight Study. And in this Foresight Study, they made a great analysis of minor potential or low potential or highly potential or potential sectors of all these comprehensive complex. That's why, especially in terms of shipyards, that's about 7 universities. It was Kalmar University, what else? Rostock University is a lead beneficiary, and also connected with your concept and with your research.
Thank you so much. I shall look into it because currently I'm engaged in a project on economic complexity, and we're also trying to figure out the areas that could connect different sectors and would be beneficial. So thank you so much for this information. I will definitely use it. Thank you.
Okay, and next question, please. Any contradictions between the development of blue economic growth and the sustainable development goals? For example, the development of marine minerals and SDG 14, life underwater.
Of course, there is, and that's why we should take everything into consideration carefully, and that's why there is a need for new solutions that will allow not to disturb the living creatures and not to ruin it for our future generations, of course. So that's basically what we're saying. We need to find new solutions to do that in order not to ensure economic sustainability and social balance, but also think about the ecology, of course.
Yeah. Can we pass over to the second question? Yes. How come that coastal areas have fewer researchers while at the same time often being the center of many countries' economies? Yes. Can I repeat the question?
Could you please repeat the questions?
How come that coastal areas have fewer researchers while at the same time often being the center of many countries' economies? Maybe they mean very low.
Yes, I'm sorry, I missed the second part of the question. The first time, well, it depends on the way You count it. So first of all, it depends on the size of the territory you take into account. So normally when we talk about Baltic Sea region, we talk only about countries, or we talk about NUTS 3 level units, those that are located on the coast. And then there are also different approaches to counting the number of researchers. So here we had to apply the head count, not taking into account the number researchers spent working there, but the actual number of people involved, because that's how it is calculated in Russia. So we had to use such data from Eurostat. And actually, a lot of these statistics was surprising. So, because, for example, it is a general knowledge that sea attracts, the location on the coast attracts population, for example. So there are more people living near the sea, but this once again depends on the size of the territory you consider. So yeah, unfortunately, that was what the statistics showed.
I hope, yes. So, and the one more question. How do you assess the sufficiency of blue economy strategy to the protection of global environmental commons in the ocean far from the coastal zone?
Okay, I got a bit lost once again. I apologize. Could you please repeat that?
Sufficiency of blue economy strategy to the protection of global environmental, maybe, I don't know, in the ocean far from the coastal zone.
Well, I must say that my knowledge in this area is quite limited because I've been looking only at the Baltic Sea. And since it's surrounded everywhere from all the sides by the land, we didn't look that far as to consider the entire world ocean. But on the other hand, if we do not take these steps and if we do not try sustainable solutions in blue economy, well, the harm to the ocean will be much bigger if otherwise. So,
but in fact,
it's hard to say whether they are sufficient or not, but they have to be done. These steps have to be taken.
In fact, the concept of blue growth implies the comprehensive development, yes, of all sectors. So, yes, do we have one more question or that's enough? That's okay, yeah, that is it. So let's pass over to the next speaker, yeah? Thank you very much, Yulia. Thank you.
Thank you so much.